from? That's from a movie.
I think it's Will Ferrell.
We're rolling now?
Yeah.
Okay.
Live. That's a whistle.
Whistles aren't very alive. They're actually
alive.
quite dead, inanimate objects.
They're blown with
Anyway, welcome back. Sorry it's been about a month and a half since we've seen you guys, or you've seen us, vice versa, however you ever do it. I was busy building a cage. I'm sorry. It sucks. Cage life.
Yep.
Anyway, so now that I know my front knuckles are completely bad because I bent them racing, it's about time to replace them. So we're doing the WJ Knuckle Swap. We're not swapping anything out, I'm just replacing what I have. But while we're doing that, we're going to show you guys exactly what goes on, how you put it together and whatnot. So without any further ado, here comes the video. Come on. Release!
Hey, put the Tips and Tricks by Edgar. Come on, Brexit sounds. Double shark. Turn passenger a little bit. Stop. Driver. Slowly. Alright, you're done. There you go.
Chromoly.
Could have been that high temp paint too.
So what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to tap out these knuckles for 1-ton tower ends. I'm not only tapping them out for the bigger tower ends. Up here, I'm going to flip it. A drag link flip. So it's supposed to come from under here, which makes for a harsher steering angle. I'm going to flip it up so it's up top right here. So I have a nice flat drag link angle. Finish on this side, drag link's been flipped over, bottom has been drawn to the right size. So now we're going to go to the other side and start to press all over. Alright, so what we did right here is we pulled both Jeeps up to give you a glimpse of the difference between the WJ and the stock knuckle arrangement. Alright, the WJ one's over here. We have a high steer arm, we have bigger brakes, dual piston calipers, and that's the advantages there. Big brakes, high steer arm from factory right here, which you can go all the way with it. Over here, the stock ones, you have a smaller single piston caliper, smaller discs, and no options to really run high steer unless you're bolting on something. So just to give you a quick reference, and yes, we both have wheel spacers. Oops. What happened?
Still alive.
Still alive.
I'm not dead. Thank you.
Alright, so it's not a direct Bolton swap, the knuckle, per se. What you have is you have your WJ knuckle, but you have to weld on a spacer flange right here so that the universal joint is centered properly inside of it. So, you buy one of these from Farmer Johnson Offroad, place it on here, bolt it up, and you weld all the way around, and you get your spacer on there. If you can see it, this is the old one. But all right there, weld it all around. And then you can use your XJ hubs. What hubs work? If you're going to use your stock XJ hubs, you have to have one of these guys, the older XJ hubs. It's going to space the brakes out properly so that it's properly centered on the disc. Now if you use 2006 TJ Rubicon hubs, they're all the same. Actually, you can use a regular 31 because Rubicon's at a 44. But anyway, to use that hub, you don't have to have these. So that's just what I recommend doing. They have longer studs anyway because they came with the big Rubicon rims, and that's what I recommend. If you're cheap and not replacing your hubs, you're going to have that spacer on there. Also be found from Farmer Johnson Offroad. All right, here's my favorite yet the most difficult part of the WJ swap. If you're going to use it to its full capabilities, you can do a true crossover steering arrangement. So as opposed to a Y-link like a stock XJ configuration where you have the drag link that comes down and then the tie rod attaches here and goes over. And I hate that setup just because it's hard to give yourself your own alignments. It's a lot easier with this setup, and plus you can do your own 1-ton ends, whatever you want to do. You can use the stock WJ ends. It's just a lot easier. So what I did is 1-ton ends from a 70 Chevy, aluminum drag link and tie rod from my Iron Rock 4x4 fab, and just drilled and tapped out the knuckles, flipped it over this way. Now I have like a really level drag link, and it's just a lot better, a lot stronger than the stock setup. Sure, the easier way to go is the Curry Giant setup with the Curry Correct link. I love that, but if you're gonna go all the way into it, you might as well do this. The only problem is your track bar. The track bar is such a pain in the rear end to set up because you have to go so far to match the length of your drag link. So mine has to bend around the coil spring. So unless you have really knowledgeable friends with fabrication, or you are, I'd stay away from this part of the WJ swap. The brakes are worth it alone, but if you're going to go for the steering, just know that you're going to have a heck of a time getting around the coil spring, unless you put the coil springs back into the axle more and you can have a straight shot. But if you're going to do the stock coil spring buckets, it's a pain in the rear end. Well, you see a lot of times when people do a swap, they put the track bar and they end it right here, so you don't have to go around the coil spring. That is bad. That is going to cause horrible bump steer because your drag link and your track bar are not the same length. So when they come down, the geometry is going to pull your tire one way, and you're going to get bump steer. And sure, with 15 steering stabilizers, you can fix that, but it's just the wrong way to go about it. So if you're going to do this, just do your homework and know you're going to have to get around this coil spring to get the true length out of the track bar and the drag link. My track bar length is I put it over on the actual knuckle, okay? It's fully braced to the knuckle all the way up front. There's a brace right here so that this piece doesn't bend over. I've actually seen that once. And it comes all the way to the side knuckle. So to do that, you have to make sure you replace your ball joints when you're doing that. I've seen it where they attach it directly to the knuckle and put bolts through. This is just one of many ways to skin a cat. So just be mindful of that. Alright, the last kind of step is to kind of show you what we're doing here. I've got my Jeep with WJ brakes in the front. We've got his Jeep with stock brakes in the front. We both have 8.8 rear discs on ours. Both weigh about the same on 33s. So what we're going to do right now is we're going to go drive them around, test out the brakes, and compare the two. So, in conclusion, the WJ Knuckle Swap on your Jeep. 3 main advantages to having it.
You got bigger rotors, dual piston calipers, and a high steer arm.
That's about it. There's not a lot, but what is there is pretty advantageous in both wheeling and on-road driving. The bigger brakes are the difference between you hitting the car in front of you and not. The steering opens up a whole new level of possibilities for both strength and configuration. And I'd say it's worth it. Just be mindful, you know, this isn't a bolt-on swap. You're going to have to do some thinking. In fact, you're going to have to do more than a little bit of thinking.
Might actually have to do some welding.
Yeah, welding is pretty much a thing. Sorry. Find a friend or learn how to weld, or if you don't know how to weld, better than us.
Now, take a note that when we did our brake test, we can only go so fast in a parking lot. So,
yeah, we didn't need to skyline ourselves here. Not everyone shoots videos in barracks.
And it happens.
So it was 25 miles an hour. We did stop mine, what, 3 times?
Yeah, we shot it a couple times, and this stuff stops quick. All right.
Every time it was you know, probably a 2-foot difference at 25 miles an hour, no matter what you did. So, you know, you start doubling, tripling your speed, and it's going to be exponential. And I'd probably say 3 car lengths difference going 65 to stop. So that's the difference between you hitting the car in front of you and plowing through a bus full of innocent children. So it's worth it to me. That's about all we got.
Yes, sir.
Thanks for sticking with us, and thanks for waiting for the next video. Sorry about the wait.
Acho que
This is what real race car drivers eat right here. Zebra cakes.
God damn it.
Delicious. Nothing we can do about it.
Kid, don't look at me. Don't fucking look at me! Yeah, double take.
And if your mom and dad bought it, your car is not cool.